Konnichiwa. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Shawn. I come from Taiwan Engineering. It's great to have this chance to share my topic with you. My topic is about a scalable chatbot service in Line Now. First of all, this is my agenda today. And first of all, let me introduce Line Now. What is Line Now? Line Now is a new service which uses Lightbot to facilitate offline events by leveraging the power of Light Beacon. So in the following chart, you can see when the guest entering the place, if he turn on the Bluetooth, and he will notified by the beacon banner and asking him or her to add this away as a friend, then he or her can join the event and play some game and get the rewards. Why we choose chatbot to facilitate offline events? First of all, we think conversational interface is easy to understand and use. People have already spent a lot of time on instant messaging apps, so it don't need extra time to learn. And through some new technology, Line bots can interact with people in the physical world easily. But of course, during our development, we have several observations. So let me share my observation with you. Usually, this is how Line Messenger API works. But however, if you want to make your bot look smart, you always have many. You always need to access extra outside resource, for example, API, database, or some whatever engine to access them. However, this will cost the chatbot takes a lot of time to process the resource. We in our practice, we try to make the chatbot processing asynchronized. We separate the receive and the send process separated by a queue, and whenever we receive the chat message, we store in a queue and asynchronize to process it. And if we want to make our response smart and useful, it usually takes a lot of process, which means it's complicated and lots of effort. We separate our processing steps into a very, very small unit and make each of the unit can be reusable. So during the real-time distributed processing, each message is passed from the source and separated by a very, very small step, and each step only do a simple little thing. For example, to detect the language, to tokenize the language, to do some part of speech, to find out the norms we want to process, and get the resource we want to respond. Like this. And during the development, we have many conversation and talk about which kind of methodology we should use. And finally, in conclusion, our conclusion is to use microservice concept. The main reason is we want to eliminate the system dependency, and we hope to scale it. We hope we can scale it individually. And the following, I will introduce several our best practices to how we follow the microservice concept to develop our system. First of all, we encapsulate each subsystem by a public API. Between the subsystems, we can access each other by the public API only. We won't allow to access the data storage directly. And the second, we will choose the most appropriate technology for each subsystem. For example, if we think the transaction is important, we will choose a relational database to store the transaction. And if we want to do some image processing or language processing, we will choose the appropriate language and the technology for each of the subsystem. And since since the whole system is divided into many small subsystems, we hope to keep each service secure. We don't allow unauthorized request between among the whole system. So we use some mechanism to secure the services. We authorize each other's identity and do the signature check. We divide the whole world into several subsystems, totally decentralize the whole system, and each subsystem only have a small focus and communicate with each other through the API. So since the whole system is divided, we automate everything from pre-built, local build, commit build, component build to small test, integration test, and finally deploy to the production environment. Since the whole system is highly decentralized, we keep logging for each subsystem to monitor they are healthy or not. And once something unexpected happened, unfortunately, we will use line notify to notify the person in charge instantly to asking to do some to handling the issue. The whole system workflow looks like this. Through the message comes from the official account, put into the queue, and use a dialog manager to deal with the dialogue and find the appropriate response to respond to the user. Our second observation is about the user friendly. Fortunately, we use line up, so we have lots of interesting and rich message type can use to interact with our user. No matter sending or receiving, we can use not only text message, image messages, audio, video, and even beacon. We can notify by the system user is approaching our place, and then to do the appropriate interaction with the user. And the third observation is about how to interact with the guest. Actually, we adopt two ways to interact with the people. When user approaching a place, we use line beacon to detect the user is coming and start a conversation with them, asking to do some action, and then we may do some process. Finally, the process will be displayed. It will be visualized. The visualized output will be displayed on a big screen, so everyone in the place can see the visualized output together, and they may can have some physical interaction in the world and make their decision, and then start another conversation. This forms a positive cycle to make the conversation more efficiency and effective. So this is how we interact with interact with user in the physical world by line beacon and the line message app. This is my talk. Thank you.